So this is a hard question. I'm going to just share with you the process I used, and because there's a certain amount of trial and error here. My first thought was, can I factor this? And if you just pull out an n square, it doesn't really factor out nicely. If you pull out a 4 here, 8n minus 7, so it doesn't really help me there. If I plug in values to see if I can find the roots, 0 of course gives you negative. If you plug in 1, so you're just seeing, can I guess the value by plugging in 33 minus 39? Oh, that's still negative. If I plug in 2, 8 minus 11 times 4, 64 minus 28, so 72 minus 44, and I think I got lucky here seeing that that's 0. That means n minus 2 is a root, and I can factor that and figure out the factorization of that expression. So still some work, and of course when you're doing this in exam under pressure, you sort of thinking, do I want to sink in all this time? Because it's not going to be instant, the factoring. Minus 2n square, that would become minus 9n square, and minus 9n. So that would become plus 18n, 14n minus 28 plus 14. And that does match, and we get a remainder 0. So that's a good sign, so I can factor and maybe look at the roots and see what's happening. This also factors out nicely, n minus 7, n minus 2. So if I'm looking at the function here, we have a double root. So now I start thinking about, what would this qualitatively look like if I were to graph this? I know 2 comma 0, that's a root. In fact, it's a double root. And then 7 comma 0 is also a root. So how does this change the sign of this expression around these roots? So I know as n becomes extremely large, these terms can be dropped out. This function is really just n cubed. So it's positive here. It will probably just become something like that. And here would be negative because we're switching the roots here. And then it's a double root here. And we can also examine here n equal to 0. We already did the calculation, was negative. So it's negative, and it's a double root, so it's tangent. So it's going to look something like that. So I know it's negative here, well, 0 here, negative here, and 0 here. So then the question is, what's the smallest integer? So that's positive. So the next one after 7 is 8, and that's where it will be positive. So the answer is 8. Just kind of a comment, I don't know if I will be able to do this under exam conditions. I might. This is one of those on the border, but certainly it's a little bit involved. Maybe there's an easier method to do this question, but this is what my thought process was. And again, it's one of those questions that sort of is fairly new, meaning I haven't seen anything similar before. So it's not like you can build on previous experience. So those questions will be always the hardest, and you have to make a call if you want to take a stab at those questions or not. So to summarize, the answer is 8.